Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara and you have landed on Astrocast. This is your new moon report for the new moon in Capricorn happening on December 30th at 2:27 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we started this month, December, with a new moon in Sagittarius. We are ending December with a new moon in Capricorn. So we had two new moons in one calendar month. So that makes this new moon in particular what we call a black moon. So when we have two full moons in a calendar month, it's a blue moon. When we have two new moons in a calendar month, it's a black moon. Okay. And so first of all, every new moon is about going dark. It's about getting quiet. It's about going internal. It's resetting your compass, asking yourself, what is it that I really want? How do I want to map out this next lunar cycle? You know, what's important to me? This is what we do every single new moon. This one in particular really is a point of closure, and it's a definite new moon to just be quiet. And I will say this, I said this in yoga class this morning too, you know, we're getting toward the end of the year, the calendar year, and we're coming off of the holiday. And so when we get to the new year, we have this insatiable habit to set intentions, New Year's resolutions for the new year. I'm even hosting a class on January 1st. Let's set some intentions for the new year, right? Which is wonderful. But I'm going to tell you a couple of things that if you get nothing else from this report, I want you to take this away, okay? First of all, it's wonderful to set New Year's intentions. However, you can do that 13 times a year, okay? So every lunar cycle is a time to set intentions. However, this one in particular is really about refining your intentions. It's a black moon. It wants you to just kind of slow down a little bit and don't hold so tightly to your intentions, because they're gonna shift. I'm gonna show you my screen. And I've been working on the cosmic my cosmic program. Let me get the right screen up here. Okay, here we go. Pause. This needs to go down. There we go. I've been working on my cosmic map for 2025, the program that I'm hosting on January 3rd. If you haven't signed up yet, there's still time to get in. And we are headed for a year of speed and change and shifting directions quickly. And this new moon, I'm just going to invite you to get as quiet as you can, because I want you to be able to hear what's really true for you. I feel like the world's been getting louder and louder, and maybe it's just me, but I don't know. I feel like the world's just getting louder and louder, and I feel like we have to take a moment of pause. We just it's going to help so much. Let me tell you what's going on with this new moon. First of all, here's the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon are in Capricorn. They're at 9 degrees. Now 9 is the number of endings. It's the last single digit of numerology, and there's so much history behind the number 9. You can look it up if you want, but just trust me when I say it's a number of new beginnings, it's a number of endings, it's a number of spirituality. And here we are, have the new moon, the moon and the sun sitting in Capricorn at 9 degrees. Now, it's also sextiling Pisces, Saturn in Pisces. And when planets sextile one another, it's just an aspect that they have, a relationship that they have to each other. And it's a very positive aspect. But let me tell you something about Saturn. First of all, Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. Okay, and so here's Saturn and Saturn and the new moon in Capricorn, creating this relationship around getting things going, but being meticulous with what it is that you want, right? So Capricorn, first of all, is all about setting intentions, mainly around your career, taking one step at a time, being very disciplined, you know, building a foundation for yourself, creating a plan of action, having a strategy. Like, this is Capricorn. Anybody who knows a Capricorn or is a Capricorn, you know this, right? And so with this new moon in Capricorn, you would think that the theme of discipline and commitment and dedication and really staying on track with your, you know, highest frequency is really important. But I'm going to tell you something. There's also a shadow side. Okay, there's a shadow side to Capricorn, just like there's a shadow side to every single planet, every single sign. And the shadow side of Capricorn, and this is important, the shadow side of Capricorn is this need to be in control, this need to be, have everything be perfect. You know, Capricorns, and this is the shadow side, they have this tendency to, like, they get to where they're going and then they want to get to the next thing and they don't really pause to enjoy the gift. Okay, so with this new moon, one of the things that you can do is to actually sit for a little while and enjoy the fruits of your labor and ask yourself, you know, on this path that I'm on these things that I'm getting ready for 2025, can I pause for a moment, enjoy, breathe, and also create space, because something's going to shift. I can promise you, doing this astrology for 2025, it's blowing my mind how much shifting is going to happen this year. And if you're too much in that shadow side of Capricorn, where you're like, this is what I want to do on this certain day and this is where I'm going, I think you'll be kind of bummed, for lack of a better word. So this, you know, again, Capricorn, all about reliability, about commitment, dedication. With this black moon, I can't express it enough how much long periods of silence and solitude is going to help you. Taking a breath before you speak, really listening deeply to what's showing up. And with Saturn sextiling this new moon, Saturn is all about the rules and the boundaries and the restrictions. So Saturn wants you to get really clear, like, is that really what you want? Are you sure you can't shift a little to the left or to the right? Right? So just be mindful. Mars is opposite Pluto. I'm going to show you where that is. Here's Mars and here's Pluto. Okay, and they're just within 1 degree, so it's a pretty hard aspect. Mars opposite Pluto, this is the second of 3 times that Mars will oppose Pluto, and it's because of its retrograde stage. And so on January 3rd, Mars is going to oppose Pluto, but it's close enough during the new moon to make an announcement about it. And Pluto's intention and transformation and death and rebirth, and Mars wants to push things forward. Mars is passion. Mars is anger. Mars is integrity. Mars is initiation. So you have these 2 planets opposing one another, and how to use this energy, channel that passion, that intention, that initiation into a project, into something that you've wanted to do, into moving your body, something that will be productive, something that will be supportive for you. There's 2 other aspects I want to go over, and I want to show them to you on the screen. So Jupiter, okay, is opposing Mercury, and they're in each other's signs. So Jupiter loves being in Sag, Mercury loves being in Gemini, and they're flip-flopped, okay? And they're opposing one another with a 5-degree orb. But they're also making a T-square to Saturn. So there's that Saturn again, Okay, now it's not exact, but it's enough again to make a mention. So this is asking you to use your intuition. This is asking you to engage in the bigger vision, like when you're sitting there setting your intentions, see the bigger picture. Ask yourself, how is this going to translate into my day to day? Ask yourself, am I being too rigid? Don't be rigid. You need to be flexible. It'll also help you break down old beliefs that you've held like really near and dear to your heart, that, you know, when we're starting to break new ground in the way we see life, I feel like what happens is we have this little bit of self-doubt, right? So we've been doing things a certain way our whole life, and then we start to feel differently. We start to change the way we think, the beliefs that we hold start to change, and then we start to question ourselves, right? Like, well, hold on a second, that doesn't feel quite right. But the not feel quite right is because you're trying to change. There's that number 9 again. Okay, so question everything. Be in the uncertainty, because when we're uncertain about something, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it could be new. And if we want something new, we have to do things differently. So be prepared to do something just a little bit differently, and question it. Let's see. Oh, this will also open up opportunities for something new to come in. When we're rigid, we're stuck in a way, that old Capricorn, you know, this is the way we're going to do it. We tend to miss the opportunities. Okay, so I invite you to be open to something new coming in. When you let go and you say, okay, I'm not quite sure what's really going to happen, I want to enter into my highest potential. This is what I think it is, but my brain is so small. Let me open it up to the universe and maybe ask God or spirit or your guides or the universe, you know, like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, but why don't you show me something different? Can you show me what's next? There's a definite slowness to this new moon, like a little bit of a stillness, a little bit of solitude, a little bit of quiet. Part of that is because it's the black moon, but part of it is just all the energy with all the other planets, right? And so I want you to just not feel pressured to hold true to this map of 2025 for yourself. Hold it, but don't hold it so tightly that you can't make changes to it. You know, it's like I've written many business plans, and anybody who's written a business plan, you'll understand this. You write a business plan, and the greatest finance people will say, we'll stick to the business plan. And a lot of times you just can't. So many things come up in our life that we have to shift and we have to pivot. And that's this energy, okay? I mean, in the first 6 months of the year, we have 4 major planets, 4 slow-moving planets changing signs. That means 5 planets since November, when Pluto changed signs, will be shifting signs. That shifts everything. These are slow-moving planets, planets that don't move for a while. So just know, maybe flexibility is a good word for this this new moon. And then one other aspect that I think is important is Chiron. Okay, so here's a little old Chiron in Aries. It's been in retrograde and it's now direct. Okay, it's been in retrograde since July. Okay, now when Chiron goes into retrograde, Chiron wants us to look at our wounds. Okay, and it wants us to learn from them, and it wants us to actually take that wound, whatever that wound is, probably something to do with abandonment, because that was Chiron's wound. Chiron wants us to look at our wound and say to ourselves, how can I use this wound for good? How can I use this wound and be not healed, but how can I use this wound to support others, or to be a better person? And so as Chiron, as we have the new moon, Chiron will go direct. And when Chiron goes direct, we've been experiencing some lessons since July. So take a moment to ask yourself, what has come up for me since July that's been a recurring theme? And what have I learned? This is why we need to slow down with this new moon. Just do your intentions, but don't hold them so tight. There has got to be some breathing room with this new moon, you guys. There's got to be some breathing room because there will be some unexpected shifts, I'm telling you. And I'm going to talk a lot about that in the class on the 1st. We're going to practice out on the bluff, and we're going to talk about how to set intentions that are really supportive. And I'm going to talk all about this in my class on January 3rd. Friday, noon, Pacific Standard Time. It's a cosmic map for 2025, how to use this energy, a little PDF write-up, but also like a whole entire webinar. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, my invitation to you is to do it now. It's still on sale. It's 50% off. It's only $200. And you'll have this whole map of 2025. Okay, and then you'll have this great ability to be able to harness some of this energy. We can't treat every single new moon the same. We can't treat every year the same. It's different. And astrology will support you in making decisions that are more aligned. I promise. Okay. All right. So if you want more information, you can go to my website, danademara.com. You can set up an astrology reading. The cosmic map is available on my website too. If you have trouble finding it, I'll put the link in the description for this in particular program. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Happy to support. You can also find me on Instagram, Dana Demara Evolution. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and we'll see you soon. Namaste.